and welcome back to EclipseClan. Last time we left off with Sky Meadow, Shortburn, Sun, and Deputy actually passing away of an infection in the mangled tail. We left it off there because there's a very interesting promotion that occurred. They want to get some other people's input on how they think that's going to work out and motivations thereof. There's also another interesting detail that I was taking a look at a little bit earlier that I'm going to go ahead and point out now. So last time, Clover Pelt, daughter Peakfur, was promoted to deputyship after Shortburn's son Sky Meadow passed away. Clover Pelt is Condor Fern's mate. And another interesting thing is that to be promoted to deputy, they currently need to have an apprentice. Clover Pelt's apprentice was Mistlepaw, who was just promoted at the same exact time. So it's not like that was a cat that had a lot of, experience being a mentor. Condor Fern actually had another apprentice. Really very few cats in this clan had any apprentices at all just because of how the challenge is. The parents will typically take over the roles of mentoring for any kits that they have. So Mistlepaw, Pantherpaw, and Milkweedpaw really belong to Nutmeg Shane. But it's very interesting that Clover Pelt was given the one thing that she needed to get promotion to deputy per the game standards at the same exact time. Now, for the sake of the challenge, we are going to be shifting the kits back over to their parent where they should actually be. But I don't think that's really going to affect Clover Pelt in any way. Now, when it comes to Clover Pelt's motivations, I got one interesting comment that said that Shortburn may have been promoting Clover Pelt over Condor Fern, knowing that Condor Fern loves Clover Pelt, in a way to try and appear less biased to the rest of the clan. I can definitely see that being a possibility. I can also see Clover Pelt not having the best motivations ever for Shortburn, as Clover Pelt has a sneaky trait and it is an unusually strong fighter. Condor Fern also has a sneaky trait, but is a skilled mediator and a good storyteller. So, when two sneaky she-cats get together and your leader is your mother and a tyrannical leader, that's not exactly the most promising combination. Even so, we're gonna see how things play out for right now. I have a sneaking suspicion that Clover Pelt is not going to be as, serving a Shortburn thinks she may be, but I don't think she's gonna act on that right away either. Because I do think that Shortburn has her eye on Clover Pelt and everybody else in the clan right now for that matter too. So we'll go through our cats, we'll check out our new apprentices and kits, and get everything resituated. Shortburn is finding the responsibility of leadership to be quite the heavy burden. That doesn't surprise me. A large part of her leadership has been just paranoia, bloodshed, and just really overcompensation. Clover Pelt, meanwhile, is just assigning cats a hunting patrol. So here's Mistlepaw, the first of our new apprentices. He grew up to be quite a pretty cat, charismatic and quick to make peace, and had a very strange dream. So we'll go ahead and switch them over to Nutmeg Shade. Pantherpaw has agreed to their mentor's orders recently despite having their own doubts. She grew to be nervous but quick to help, and I just switched over to Nutmeg Shade. Milkweedpaw says they don't want to do anything today. Childish, but quick to make peace. Alright, they're all with Nutmeg Shade. Don't think that's going to be very beneficial for them, but that's where they are. So then we have Crest Kit here. I think we showcased them last time, yielding pitifully for milk. Icy Kit, who smells Shy Pelt, immediately perks up. That is so cute. And Wee Kit, who's also mewling pitifully for milk. And we'll go ahead and send out some patrols after we roll for our generator here. Okay, so we still are talking about the slaughter. I suppose that is still at the forefront of a lot of cats' minds. McGaster and Pantherpaw discuss Shortburn's slaughter. The former is disgusted by her actions, and while the second cat agrees with McGaster, a flick of their tail indicates that they secretly think otherwise. So Pantherpaw, growing up in this sort of environment, probably thinks that this is normal and appropriate, and McGaster, with any kind of background otherwise, thinks it was a little bit too forceful. McGaster, I think, has shown some agreement in the past, so I'm a little surprised that McGaster is reviling it now. I think, if anything, they're probably trying to set a better example for Pantherpaw than what, their current gang of crooks is currently doing. And Pantherpaw is agreeing just to save face, but really doesn't agree with McGaster. I think how we're going to reflect that is we'll worsen Shortburn and McGaster, but increase Shortburn and Pantherpaw. Gets a little bit better. Gets a little bit worse. And that makes Shade discusses StarClan and whether or not they have real visions as they train. As the patrol is marking the border lines, a gang of rogues bursts from the bushes. It's an ambush. We'll proceed. And we descend to battle without a second thought, driving them away. Alright, we actually had fully successful patrols. We got some hunting practice in, and we drove off a badger. So, I think that was a pretty good start. We'll go ahead and jump into time skip. I do agree that we need another medicine cat. For right now, Cougar Speckle actually seems to be able to... Actually, this is too many cats for Cougar Speckle, so I'm a little surprised that one of these didn't automatically become a medicine cat. I guess we'll go ahead and reserve one of these kits for medicine cat after this. So I still don't have enough healthy medicine cats. Usually when we have that prompt, that automatically makes an upcoming kit to apprentice a medicine cat, so a little surprised that that didn't happen. But the joint pain that Cougar Speckle is experiencing is gone. Clift Apple has recovered from their sprain. Gravel Arch's snake bite has healed, but they'll always carry evidence of the incident on their pelt. Shy Pelt has finally gotten rid of all their fleas. Strike Smoke has gotten White Cough. And Wicked falls into river, but is saved by Pantherpaw. Alright, we'll give this just a quick scroll. I'm just curious to see if there is anything very telling here. So Shortburn is still grieving, but is currently eavesdropping on Sophie Fade. Wonder if Sophie Fade is saying something that they shouldn't be. So here's Crescent, a bit more grown up. Noisy, but quick to help. Icy Kid is wondering who their mentor will be. Daring and quick to make peace. Got a spoiler alert, unless your medicine cat is going to be Shy Pelt. Wee Kid is nervous for their apprentice ceremony. Also noisy and quick to help. There weren't really any very interesting sasses this moon, so we'll jump into our generator. Okay, so Shortburn randomly decides to give McGaster priority on food and nesting sites for the day. They seem to appreciate the preferential treatment. So whatever Shortburn did, McGaster definitely doesn't say no to getting, probably for his sake on prey, farther away from the snow, things like that. So we'll go ahead and improve their relationship then. Yeah, I think that's all we'll do. Shortburn's trying to butter some cats up, I think. Also, after some thought, I definitely think that she's genuinely grieving in some regard. But I think she's also probably feigning being a bit more, you know, invalid than she actually is. So I think she's using her grief as a good excuse to get some whispers and goings on in the clan. And one of them could very well have been McAster's saying that they didn't agree with what Shortburn was doing. So maybe Shortburn is trying to either highlight them as a hypocrite or paint a target on their back even for the rest of the clan. The kids get into disagreement and look to Nutmeg Shade to settle the dispute. Nutmeg Shade listens to both sides and makes a careful judgment. Keeps no one happy, the mark of an excellent compromise and true parenting. Our patrol stumbles across a large dog wandering in the middle of the clan's territory. With so many cats all working as one, the dogs start to get beaten back. But just as the tide of the fight seems about to turn, one lucky strike hits Dandelion Echo and those vicious jaws take them to StarClan. Oh man, that's even with Gravel Arch and the others on the patrol. I think when the patrol gets back to the clan, they'll report to Clover Pelt directly. Clover Pelt will bring the news up to Shortburn, who dismisses her and just says that Dandelion Echo was clearly the weakest of the patrol and they got exactly what they deserved with the dog's fangs. The rest of the patrol can't fully make up for weakness like that, and as long as weakest link in the chain has been snapped, then Shortburn has no qualms about the rest of the cats. Some of the cats are relieved, some of them are mortified. But ultimately, they all settle back into their nests to think about exactly what happened, what went wrong, and how they cannot be the cat that happens to in the future. Condor Fern catches a rabbit. And the rest of our clan mates get into an ambush by rogues. This definitely seems to be happening a bit more often lately. This could be marked movement from some of the cats that have been in exile too. Taken by surprise, the patrol scatters and loses cohesion. The rogues are quick to take advantage of the confusion, and eventually the patrol retreats, Mincrest badly wounded with a mangled leg. Mincrest and Freeze Eyes were both on the patrol, and Hocus Pocus's and Claw Splinter's kids. I don't think Shortburn would necessarily act out against them. And Clover Pelt is her daughter's mate, and Shortburn's deputy, so I don't think Shortburn is necessarily going to act out against her, not right now. But I think that Sophie Fade, who doesn't have any strong ties in the clan, is going to get some brunt of Shortburn's anger. So when Clover Pelt hesitantly tells Shortburn about her own failings and that Mincrest was injured by the rogues, Shortburn is just going to say that that's what happens when cats who are born outside of the clan are trusted with those born within the clan. The excuse may be somewhat flimsy given the fact that quite a few of the cats currently in the clan are outsiders, and some of the most reliable ones are outsiders. Even so, Sophie Fade is sent away. The past moon, Dandelion Echo has taken their place in StarClan, and their loss is mourned. We still don't have enough healthy medicine cats, and Cougar Speckle's bad leg is feeling particularly sore this moon, so they may not be able to even get out collect herbs. Nutmeg Shade, however, is free of fleas. Shortburn is thinking about new ways to quote-unquote care for the clan. Rain Creek is mourning the loss of Dandelion Echo. Poor Rain Creek has now lost all of their kits. Not a single one is left. No, Condor Fern is spreading rumors about their clanmates. Whether or not those are exactly true or not, that remains to be seen, but that definitely seems like something that she's doing for her own self-gain, or that of Clover Pelt. Okay, no one else is really doing too much. Gravel Arch is just wondering what Shortburn is thinking. Something that I think a lot of us are. So we'll go and roll our event for this moon, and we'll see what comes of that. Okay, so Shortburn decides to host a vicious training session, ordering both cats involved in order to prove themselves to her and their strength to wound one another with claws or teeth. Both cats don't really appreciate it, and both Shy Pelt and Freeze Eyes have a new scar for themselves, and the relationship with Shortburn has worsened. It's very interesting that she seems to be targeting Freeze Eyes especially, but also all of Claw Splinter's kits have been brought up in some way or another negatively. I don't know if Shortburn is necessarily blaming them for being here instead of Claw Splinter, but that could definitely be a part of it. Regardless, their relationships are worsening. Shortburn did host quite a bit of love for them, even as much as she had some dislike there, so I do think she does love the kits in her own twisted way, and the motives of her training session could also just have genuinely been that she wants them to not fail in any upcoming tasks that they were faced with, especially given what happened to Minkrest most recently. Cougar Speckle did feel well enough to patrol and get some cobwebs. The apprentices all argue again, but this time that makes Shade stutters. They're not sure that they're really ready for this responsibility. Of course, the kids aren't going to tell on their parent and say that they were lacking in any way, but the apprentices are a little bit uncertain about some things, I'm sure. We follow some paw prints that do turn out to be a trespassing rogue who leaves without a fight. Cliftapple and Shy Pelt go out together in order to hunt. Snow falling around the patrol hushes the world around and between them into a white-tinted haze, and Cliftapple grows increasingly on edge. There's something wrong. Where is Shy Pelt? I don't think I have seen this before. Cliftapple is silently furious at Shy Pelt when they find them. A snowstorm has no time to go herring off by themselves, and it's destroyed the patrol's hunting chances. Ooh, okay. I do think that Shortburn is going to be equally furious that Cliftapple and Shy Pelt came back empty-pawed. Cliftapple is, of course, going to report that it's all Shy Pelt's fault for leaving in the middle of a storm. Curious to see if Shortburn believes that. She does have a lot of like for Cliftapple, and is in a weird relationship with Shy Pelt. Shortburn does generally like both of those cats, but can't really excuse them coming back empty-pawed. Instead, I think what she's going to do is blame these rogues that have been tormenting the clan lately for scaring away or taking extra prey that they shouldn't have been. So Shortburn is going to say that the problem doesn't lie within the clan, but without. As such, she calls the clan together and orders all the clan to make sure that they don't let any rogue escape without a scar to remember them by, and even better, to bring their pelt back to the camp for Shortburn to line her nest with. Shortburn does not want to see any rogues leaving the clan's territory alive right now. And that really ups the ante for any cat that, leaves her displeased right now. The patrol spots a badger making a den on Butterfly Clan territory. I'll antagonize that. We continue the patrol, and sometime later a Butterfly Clan patrol calls out to our patrol, asking if we've seen anything suspicious. Condor Fern tells them coldly that their clan doesn't owe them anything, and continues their patrol. Alright, so mission accomplished there. This is definitely going to be a bit of a shorter one, but I think I want to leave it here. I want to leave some more opportunity for Clover Pelt to settle into her position, possibly enact on her position in some way, and just, continue getting some feedback on how everyone thinks these two are going to be interacting a bit more. So until next time, stay safe and happy. I'll see you all then, and bye!